What's going on, everybody? C4 here. I said earlier on when I was very hyped up over the Madden title update that got the O-line X factors, or O-line abilities, O-line superstar abilities. They fixed mobile quarterbacks in the sim. They made it so snap counts correctly work for hidden dev traits, amongst other things. So, making the fumbles, no more Derwin James, or hopefully it's less. I haven't been able to get in and test it out. I've had people on Twitter say that the fumbles are still bad. I've had other people say that it works out pretty well. So I want to try that out. So, well, all that I said can't wait to go play the Raiders franchise mode, try all this stuff out. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited, and I said it was the best patch that I've ever seen for Madden. That's over the last, since we've got big genuine patches last 3 years. I think that says something, right? So then there comes the bad. There's always a downside for these things. I want to give EA the benefit of the doubt, but this is just. I'm going to start off by saying this is a rant video. And I want to start by saying I don't know if what I'm going to rant about was a decision from the devs or was it a technological issue. Like they just couldn't import it. It wouldn't work properly. So unfortunately, it's just the short end of the stick of starting your franchise mode earlier. But it hasn't been made clear. And by some of the responses from Clint, who's a lead dev on Twitter, it sounds like this might have been a personal decision as to why what I'm about to rant is a thing. So here we go. You may look, you're like, oh, this is not the Raiders franchise. No, this is the Colts franchise, the Colts rebuild that we did. It was our second rebuild. So we did this way back in a couple weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago. So this is a franchise that was started well before today's title update. So what we know is, like, we can look right now, this is a couple years in the future, but what we know here, we'll look at Quentin Nelson, for example, is Quentin Nelson has more abilities for his ratings here. He doesn't even have superstar abilities. There you go. He hasn't even been updated. So what we have told right now is that all these brand new offensive line abilities that are awesome to have in Madden, they do not get added into your existing cloud or offline franchise modes. So if you were doing the Colts right now, you would assume that, hey, but this brand new content just got pushed in. When I go look at Quentin Nelson, he was a star yesterday, but today I'm excited to use Quentin Nelson with his superstar abilities, where he has two different types of abilities that's gonna actually make him a pretty overpowered offensive lineman. So they said that they are not adding them to existing players, and I think Clint had an exact tweet saying he didn't want to mess with your franchise modes, which is, I personally don't agree with that. I think that if you pull 100 franchise mode players, do you want these brand new abilities to be added to your existing franchise mode, or do you want to have to restart over from scratch? 100 out of 100 players would say, give me the brand new abilities. It's fine. So getting around that, and like I said, I don't know if it was a technological issue. They just straight up couldn't import these brand new abilities into existing franchise modes. It was too buggy. It was too glitchy. And if that's the case, it sucks, but so be it, and I can understand that. But they have not come out and said that. And I feel like this is going to be the big talking point from this patch update is everyone essentially is going to have to restart their existing franchise modes if you want the new offensive line abilities. And that is horrendous. And here's why. I did some testing. They already said, I actually tagged Moonlight Swami, who's now works on the Madden titles, and he said IIRC. So if I remember correctly, it wasn't a confident answer saying that you could draft and you could develop these guys. So I could still have Quentin Nelson here, right? Look, you could tell by his age, we are like 4 or 5 seasons in since the new post-patch update, that Quentin Nelson would be able to grow and develop into a superstar with all those new abilities. As you can see, and I actually jacked up the XP sliders, that is not the case. And maybe you could just say, well, Quentin Nelson might have been unlucky. So what I actually did here in this Colts franchise, because I'm using this Colts franchise because it's clearly a franchise that came out before today's title update, I went in and added all 90 overall rookies, all different play types. Some of them are power, some of them are agile, some of them are pass protectors, so that we should have everything across the board covered for abilities, and they're all secure protector. That's the only ability you can get. Secure protector was the only offensive line ability that was available at launch, and as far as all of my testing on old franchise modes, you cannot. Because look, here's another guy at guard. Guess what his ability is? Oh, it's secure protector. Oh, we have a center here. Pass protecting. Oh, it's secure protector. We have Hampton, a 93 guard. Oh, guess what he can? Oh, he's only secure protector as well. So on and so forth. So I was like, this is not good. What they're saying is essentially you can't get them on old franchises. And here's what I did on a brand new franchise. I did the exact same test on a brand new connected franchise mode post-title update, so with all the new abilities in the game, and guess what happened? Out the Eagles on the post patch, and look, all the new abilities. Nasty Streak. We got Zone Blocker. At right guard, we have Alonzo Hammond here. Puller Elite, Threat Detector. So we're going to be able to confirm. I can confirm from this test. I don't know if we're going to get a new patch. I'm going to wait a day because I can work on my draft classes tonight and you know, not, hopefully we get good news. We need to make this incredibly clear so we can get a concise and confirmed answer. But as of right now, through all my tests, there is no way to get the brand new offensive line abilities in pre-existing franchise modes. You are going to have to restart your franchise mode if you want to get any of these abilities, which has an incredibly obvious problem for YouTubers and here on our channel, reflecting back on the Raiders franchise. Here in the Raiders franchise, we are in year 2, and as it stands right now, we are not having any of the offensive line abilities. And I was thinking all along, well, you know, it's not that big of a deal for our offensive line, right? Because we only have Rodney Hudson, and Rodney Hudson has Secure Protector. That's his only ability. That's the only ability that all the offensive linemen before could potentially get. So I was like, all right, it might suck for free agency. You know, if any of the new offensive linemen that has all those abilities hit free agency, I'm not going to be able to sign them and drastically improve my offensive line. But at least, you know, I could draft offensive linemen, and from here on out, this starting point, we would have the game slowly start to build up O-line with dev traits. And I've gone in and tried to edit it. It doesn't exist. Like, I don't want to do it because I don't want to mess up this franchise because I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. But if I go in, look, if I made Gabe Jackson here a superstar ability player, I can just do it here. It doesn't update anything. Like, I don't know. I think he's not even an 80. You need to be an 80, I think, to even get the ability, right? Yeah, so at 80. Either way, that's going to be Secure Protector. If I manually went and made everyone that in the brand new update got an ability, I can't even manually do that. So I feel like that should not exist. But it comes down to the fact that I'm probably going to have to restart this. There's no way that this is going to be fun to play without having a gigantic dynamic. And a fact that makes this game so frustrating to play is not having offensive line abilities. I want them. So where I'm at right now is I was going to originally upload another Raiders episode today, but I'm going to have this video come out, kind of just open the air, clear the air. Hopefully, at least we can get a response of if they're ever going to be able to add these existing O-line abilities or O-line abilities into existing franchise modes. If not, I mean, I'm planning on tomorrow's upload. I'm going to work on the draft classes tonight. Tomorrow's upload will be the first episode of one of the realistic rebuilds. So that's 2 days to really get an answer. If not, what I'm thinking we're going to do, I think restarting this would be a crime for what we have right now in terms of content. So what I'm thinking is under the hood, behind the scenes, I restart it. I do last season. You know, it's going to be, I don't really want to have to play every single game. That's going to take forever. But it should be fairly easy. Like when you look at the Raiders, our opening year, I can make sure, you know, win-losses are the same. I should be able to draft the same prospects. Like I should be able to, I can make it work. I should be able to find a way to get all the draft prospects that I want. It might across the league, it might be different. Like I know for a fact, like, you know, we saw the Miami Dolphins get Justin Herbert. If I redo the draft, they might not get Justin Herbert, but there's going to have to be some compromises because EA just made a very dumb decision, man. There's no other way to cut it unless it was a hardware issue that they just couldn't do it. If this was someone up top saying, you know what, let's just make it so the abilities don't go in existing franchise modes, that is really dumb. But behind the scenes, anyways, like I said, behind the scenes, I can make it so I can modify it. Like I can make, you know, who we draft. We drafted CeeDee Lamb, Neville Gallimore, CJ Henderson. I can just go into my draft class, make all those guys like UDFAs, and make sure we, at least in the Raiders, get 100% of our draft picks. I also can be able to go through, make sure we get dev traits. So Chris Warren get a new dev trait. Moreau get a new dev trait. They'd all start. Tyrell Williams get a new dev trait. So everything would be exactly the same. From a statistical standpoint, I'd try and, at minimum, get AB's record numbers back. Like I have how many, you know, we got 1,900 yards, 25 touchdowns. I just play on rookie for a couple games and make sure that we could get AB's numbers back to where they're at. But other than that, all the stats would be different. I think it'd be way too hard to use your defense and try to get the 7 picks again with Garyon Conley. We're just got to remember that. It's going to be one of those things the OGs are going to have to remember Garyon Conley, even though he's absolute butt cheeks right now in the Raiders franchise. And he probably will never have, when you look at his stats here, Probably will never have those 7 interceptions again. I highly doubt he'll get that if I sim out another season. The OGs will remember this before Madden nuked our franchise mode. But ultimately, like I said, if I feel like if I can get the same draft class, I'll force the wins to get us back to this starting point, Week 9, the bye of the 2020 season. And we'll come in with at least AB's record-breaking year, which I think is probably the biggest takeaway from year 1 of the Raiders franchise. We still have all the other content. Nothing else is going to change. I feel like that's really the only compromise right now. So how do you guys, I mean, free agency is weird. I'm going to be honest. We didn't really look a whole lot through free agency outside of like I said, Drew Brees being on the Bills. I don't think there's right now for what you guys have been paying attention, and even really me, I don't know where any of the big free agents may have gone. So I feel like from that, it's not going to be that big of an issue having the teams be a little bit different from a free agency perspective. But ultimately, I want this video to come out to you guys, to raise awareness, to try to at least get us a firm answer whether or not they can maybe do a hot fix. Get this back to the devs. Tell us, just straight up, yes or no. Am I going to have to start my franchise mode to get an offensive line? I'm going to give them 2 days, and we'll be back for, Thursday. Hopefully, we'll have a new episode of the Raiders, and either it's going to be all done under the hood, and we'll be back to this point with all of our new offensive line abilities and all that stuff, or hopefully we get a clear answer. But I want to hear what you guys think. What do you think we should do? I'm definitely not going to restart the series. We have way too much already invested in this, so I don't know, man. I'm already incredibly annoyed right now that I'm gonna have to most likely spend 5 hours redoing the entirety of this franchise to get it back to this point, just because I feel like the perception is that this was just because of a team decision, and not a hardware issue. So please, for the love of God, everyone, start messaging as many devs as you can to try to get a clear answer on this, and let me know what you think. What is best for this Raiders franchise? I'll catch you guys later. Man, I want to be so hyped with this patch, but why? Why?